In life, there's a constant pull to respond, explain, or prove ourselves. But the truth is, real strength often comes from silence. When you focus on yourself and let your growth, discipline, and results do the talking, you rise above the noise. Silence is not weakness. It's control, clarity, and confidence. Silence is one of the most underrated forms of strength we have. In a world where everyone is rushing to speak, to argue, to prove a point, the ability to stay silent is a discipline that protects your peace and saves your energy. Think about it. How many times have you walked away from an argument or a conversation feeling drained, replaying what you should have said, wasting hours of your day on words that don't change anything? That's what happens when you give your energy to things that don't deserve it. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. It's choosing to value your own peace over someone else's chaos. It's saying, I don't need to let this in. I don't need to carry this weight. Because not everything requires your response, and not everyone deserves access to your emotions. When you stay silent, you're not ignoring the situation, you're rising above it. You're protecting your mental space from being cluttered with negativity. You're saving your energy for the things that actually move you forward. There's a big difference between reacting to everything and responding to what truly matters. Silence gives you that filter. It teaches you patience. It teaches you that you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. And the truth is, most of the time, people don't even want answers. They just want reactions. The moment you choose silence, you take away their power to control your emotions. And here's the beauty of it: silence creates clarity. When you don't rush to respond, you give yourself time to think, to reflect, to see the situation for what it really is. Sometimes, the best decision you can make is no decision in the moment, just quiet. That quietness helps you see through manipulation, it helps you avoid regrets, and it helps you maintain self-respect. Because the words you don't say in anger will always protect you more than the words you wish you could take back. Silence also speaks louder than noise. People notice when you don't react. They notice when you don't give in. Your calmness unsettles their chaos. Your restraint makes them wonder. That's power. Because peace is not about being untouched by problems. It's about choosing not to let those problems live rent free in your mind. Silence protects that peace. And the energy you save by not feeding every conflict, by not engaging in every petty situation, can be invested into yourself, your goals, your growth. So the next time you're pulled into a situation that feels heavy, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will this add to my peace or take away from it? Most of the time, you'll find the answer is silence. Because silence isn't about losing your voice, it's about gaining control over it. And once you learn to use silence as your shield, nothing outside of you can take away the peace you've built within you. When you stop looking at everyone else and start focusing inward, life changes. Most people spend their energy comparing, competing, and chasing validation from the outside world. But the truth is, everything you need to grow, to improve, and to find peace already lives inside you. Focusing inward is where real transformation begins, because that's where you find clarity about who you are and what you actually want. When you stop looking left and right, you can finally look straight ahead. You realize that your journey isn't about beating someone else to the finish line. It's about becoming a better version of yourself every single day. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you take responsibility for yourself. It happens when you stop blaming circumstances or people and instead ask, what can I do differently? How can I improve? That shift is powerful because the moment you look inward, you stop being a victim of life and start becoming the author of your life. You begin to notice your patterns, your habits, your reactions, your choices, and you start adjusting them. That's where discipline grows, not from outside pressure, but from an internal decision. I want better for myself, and I'm willing to do the work. Clarity is another gift of focusing inward. When you're distracted by the noise of the world, it's easy to lose yourself. You try to live up to expectations that were never yours. You chase goals that don't align with your soul, and you confuse other people's opinions with your own truth. But when you step back, quiet the noise, and turn inward, you gain a clear picture of what actually matters to you. You start filtering out what doesn't serve you. You stop wasting time on battles that don't belong to you. Clarity gives you direction. It tells you, this is my path, this is my pace, and this is my purpose. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from clarity to growth. Once you see where you need to go, the next step is showing up for yourself consistently. That's where focus on the self pays off the most, because discipline isn't about punishment. It's about respect. It's respecting yourself enough to keep promises you make to yourself. It's saying, I matter enough to put in the work even when no one is watching. And the more you focus inward, the stronger that discipline becomes. You don't need applause, you don't need validation, and you don't need approval from the outside because your growth is proof enough. Focusing inward is not selfish, it's necessary. Because when you pour into yourself, you have more strength, clarity, and love to offer the world around you. The strongest people are not those who are the loudest or the flashiest. They are the ones who know themselves, who discipline themselves, and who stay committed to their growth even when no one is clapping. That's the kind of focus that changes your life, not overnight, but step by step, day by day, from the inside out. Life will always present you with battles. Some are worth fighting, some are worth standing your ground for, and others are nothing more than distractions pulling you away from your peace. The challenge is knowing the difference. Not every situation deserves your reaction, and not every battle requires your voice. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay silent. Silence doesn't mean you don't care, and it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you understand that wasting words and energy on the wrong things takes away from the things that truly matter. There's a natural urge to defend yourself when people misunderstand you, criticize you, or try to provoke you. But here's the truth. People will think what they want to think, no matter how much you explain yourself. The harder you try to convince them, the deeper you get pulled into their chaos. That's why silence can be power. It refuses to give fuel to negativity. It starves the drama of the reaction it needs to survive. And in the process, it keeps you in control. Power isn't about being the loudest person in the room. Power is about being the one who doesn't get shaken, the one who doesn't feel the need to prove themselves in every moment. Your silence communicates confidence. It says, I know who I am. I don't need to argue about it. That unsettles people who thrive on conflict because they can't manipulate someone who refuses to play the game. Silence also creates space for wisdom. When you don't jump into every fight, you give yourself time to observe, to think, and to see the bigger picture. Many battles are short-term distractions dressed up to look important. If you speak too quickly, if you act too fast, you might find yourself caught in something that never even deserved your attention. Silence lets you pause. And in that pause, you often realize the smartest move is to walk away entirely. But here's the deeper lesson. Your energy is finite. Every time you give your voice to the wrong battle, you're taking it away from the right ones. The time you spend in defending yourself against pointless criticism could have been spent building yourself up, chasing your goals, or protecting your peace. Silence is not about running away. It's about conserving your strength for battles that actually matter. Your dreams, your growth, your future. And maybe the most powerful thing about silence is this: it speaks for you. When you don't respond, when you don't argue, when you don't defend yourself endlessly, people notice. They see that you're unbothered. They see that you're in control. And in the end, your results, your actions, and your character will prove more than your words ever could. So remember this: choose your battles wisely. Not every attack needs your defense. Not every opinion needs your response. Sometimes silence is not just protection, it's your strongest weapon. And when you master that, you'll realize that real power is not in how loudly you fight, but in how wisely you choose when to. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't have to prove yourself with words, arguments, or justifications. At the end of the day, the only thing that really speaks for you are your results. People can doubt you, they can question you, they can criticize you, but they cannot deny what you've built, what you've accomplished, and how far you've come. That's the power of results. They silence noise without you ever having to say a word. Think about how often people want explanations from you. Why are you doing that? Why don't you live this way? Why don't you follow the crowd? If you stop to explain yourself every time, you'll waste endless energy convincing people who may never understand. But when you stay focused on your path and let your results unfold, those same voices get quiet. Because results are undeniable. Results speak a language louder and clearer than any argument. Explanations can be twisted, misunderstood, or ignored. But results are visible. They're proof. When you dedicate yourself to your growth, when you stay disciplined and consistent, your results become the evidence that no one can refute. They show the sacrifices you've made, the hours you've put in, and the strength you've built. You don't need to announce your progress every step of the way. You don't need to post about every move you're making. The end result will speak volumes when it arrives, and it will carry a weight that words never could. And here's the truth: results carry respect. People may dismiss your words, but they respect what they can see. When you start producing results, whether it's success in your work, changes in your mindset, or progress in your goals, people pay attention. And the ones who doubted you, they'll realize you never needed their approval to begin with. Focusing on results instead of explanations also keeps you in the right state of mind. You stop chasing validation and start chasing improvement. You stop asking, "Do they believe me?" And instead ask, Am I becoming who I want to be? That shift is powerful because it keeps your energy on building, not defending. Defending drains you. Building strengthens you. And when you keep building, the results will always arrive. Sometimes silence paired with results is the loudest statement you can make. People expect you to argue back, to prove yourself, to explain every choice. But when you don't, when you stay silent and let your actions create the answer, you leave them no room to debate. They can't argue with evidence that's right in front of them. So stop feeling the need to explain your every move. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to become the best version of yourself. Let your work, your growth, and your results carry the message. Because at the end of the day, results are louder than words, and they will always be the clearest proof of who you are and what you stand for. Negativity feeds on reaction. It survives when you engage with it, argue with it, or try to fight it head on. The truth is, most negativity isn't even about you. It's about the person projecting it. When people throw criticism, shade, or drama your way, they're often revealing more about themselves than they are about you. And the moment you respond with anger, defensiveness, or explanation, you've handed them power. That's why silence is so effective. Silence disarms negativity. It takes away the reaction that negativity is looking for. Without fuel, the fire dies out. Think about it when someone insults you. They're expecting a rise. They want you to argue, to defend, to prove them wrong. But when you respond with silence, you give them nothing. That unsettles them more than any comeback ever could. Your silence says, I'm not playing your game. I won't lower my peace to match your chaos. That's strength, because true strength is not in how loud you can clap back. It's in how unbothered you remain. Drama, by nature, thrives on attention. The more you engage, the bigger it gets. Small problems become huge conflicts because people keep feeding them with words, reactions, and energy. But silence is like cutting the cord. It removes the energy source. Without your attention, drama loses its impact. And often, it fades away on its own. You don't have to fix every misunderstanding, and you don't have to correct every false story. The people who matter will see the truth in your actions. The people who want drama will keep spinning their stories whether you respond or not. So why waste your peace? Silence also protects your reputation more than words can. The things said in anger, the arguments you regret, the explanations that sound defensive, none of those moments serve you, but silence. Silence can't be twisted. It can't be replayed against you. It stands clean. And often, people remember your composure far more than they remember the noise around you. Choosing silence doesn't mean you allow negativity to win. It means you've decided that protecting your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. You're not ignoring the situation. You're mastering it. Because nothing frustrates negativity more than a person it can't control. Your silence is a wall it can't climb. And here's the real beauty of silence. It keeps you free. Free from wasted energy. Free from unnecessary tension. Free from being pulled into battles that don't belong to you. The time you save by not entertaining drama is time you can invest in your goals, your growth, and your happiness. And that shift, choosing progress over pettiness, is what sets strong people apart. So the next time negativity shows up at your door, don't argue with it. Don't explain yourself. Don't get pulled into the spiral. Just stay silent. Protect your peace. Because silence disarms negativity faster than any words ever could, and it ensures that you stay above the drama, not trapped inside it. Respect starts with you. Too many people chase respect from others without first building it within themselves. The truth is, the way you see yourself sets the standard for how others will see you. When you focus on yourself, your growth, your choices, your discipline, you begin to create self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of every strong life. Because when you respect yourself, you stop settling for less. You stop tolerating what doesn't align with your values. You stop bending just to fit in. You begin to stand tall, not because the world validates you, but because you've validated yourself. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. It's making the decision that your energy, your goals, and your peace matter. When you give your time to developing yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, you start to notice changes. You carry yourself differently. You speak with more confidence. You make choices with more clarity. And those little shifts build a sense of pride in who you are becoming. That's self-respect. It comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself even when no one is watching. It comes from showing up for yourself every day, even when it's hard. And here's the powerful part: when you respect yourself, others notice. People can feel when you've set a standard for your life. They can see it in your boundaries, in your consistency, in the way you carry yourself. You don't even have to demand respect. It's commanded by the way you live. Because people are drawn to those who are grounded, who are confident without arrogance, who know their worth without needing to prove it. That kind of presence speaks louder than any words. On the flip side, when you neglect yourself, when you always put others ahead of your well-being, when you constantly chase validation, you send the message that your needs and your growth don't matter, and people treat you accordingly. But the moment you shift that focus inward, you teach the world how to treat you. You show them that you won't settle for less than what aligns with your values and goals. That's how focusing on yourself commands respect from others. It sets a tone. Focusing inward also keeps you from being distracted by comparisons. When you measure yourself against others, you lose sight of your own path. But when you measure yourself against who you were yesterday, you keep growing. That growth builds confidence. That confidence builds self-respect. And the cycle continues. The truth is, you don't need to beg for respect. You don't need to chase it. All you need to do is focus on yourself, your peace, your growth, your discipline, your integrity. Respect will follow naturally. It will come from within first, and then it will be reflected by others. Because the strongest respect is not the one others give you. It's the one you give yourself every day by choosing to stay committed to your own journey. At the end of the day, everything comes back to you. Your peace, your focus, your silence, your growth. Life will always have noise, distractions, and people who want to pull you off track. But when you choose to focus on yourself, when you protect your energy with silence, and when you let your results speak louder than words, you step into a different kind of power. It's not about proving yourself to the world. It's about proving yourself to you. Because when you respect yourself, when you build discipline, and when you refuse to be dragged into drama, you create a life that commands respect without ever asking for it. So let them talk, Let them doubt, let them misunderstand. You don't need to waste your energy explaining who you are. Just focus inward, stay silent where silence is power, and keep building. In time, your growth will say everything you never had to. And the best part, you'll have your peace, your clarity, and your self-respect intact. That's the real victory.